Well, hey guys. Well, I've gotten my third or fourth request for some information on this knife that I use to open things on some of my videos. Most recently, Jeff Moss asked for little extra information. So this knife is made by Columbia River Knife and Tool, CRKT. The model is M16-14T, so it's from their M16 or MXX line. I don't know what it has to do with an M16, but it's, that's what it's called. It's designed by a guy named Carson, Kit Carson, and the thing that I particularly like about it is that's his contribution, among other things, is this little nub here, which I'll show you in a minute. The knife itself, as you can see, is about 5.5 inches long, folded. It does have a belt clip, and I carry the clip out, so it's not concealed. It does have a little safety that locks the blade open, which is kind of neat, except when you want to close it. I've been carrying this around for several years, and I'd say it's in pretty decent shape. Some of the, finish is worn off of the clip, but so it goes. So let me zoom out a little bit and see if I can give you some more detail on this thing. So the way that you operate this knife is you hold it, in my case, in my right hand. Even though I'm left-handed, that's where I like to carry it on the right. And you put your index finger on this little nub here, which they call the flipper, the Carson flipper. And then you press down smartly on the flipper and give it a little flick, and it just opens up like that. There's no spring-loaded action. It's not an assisted opening. It's doesn't count as a switchblade or anything like that because you're pressing directly on the blade, and there's no spring assist or anything like that. So it opens, and then it's a liner lock. So you just press this to the side, this little lever here to the side, and then close it up without cutting your finger. And like I said, it does have this little blade lock, which I don't really use, but that will keep it. It basically locks the liner lock so that it won't close on you if you're doing something, rough with it. You can see the blade itself is, let's see, I don't know, 3 3/4, almost 4 inches long. It's a little big for some people. If you whip it out on an elevator, it often freaks people out. I can tell you from experience, but I find it to be nice just to have the weight, the heft of it, if you really need to cut something. I even will do like yard trimming and stuff with it, kind of use it like a machete. I did at one point break the tip off, probably doing something stupid with it, so I've had to regrind it a little bit. So the original shape was probably a little bit, this angle would have been a little bit higher and it would have been a tad longer. It's been sharpened frequently. It will take a pretty good edge, but if you're cutting a lot of cardboard and stuff, it does dull somewhat rapidly, and it is a little tricky to sharpen the serrations. You need a special tool for that. I can't remember what the blade is made out of. I want to say AUS 8, but I'm not sure. It doesn't have a made in on it, although I think this model is made in the US, but some of their other ones are made in Taiwan. Yeah, it's held up pretty well. I mean, there's a little bit of play in the blade, but I could tighten this screw up. There's Torx screws that hold it together. You can put the belt clip. Actually, I guess you can't move the belt clip. It only goes on that side. So if you carry it on the left, you have to deal with that. Obviously, when it's in your pants or your pocket with the clip on, it's facing this way. So it's this part is facing up, right? So you have to kind of grab it like this, pull up, and then grab the nub. I actually prefer tip up with the flipper type design, so I can sort of stage my finger on the flipper on the outside of my pants and then pull it out and don't have to do any kind of maneuvering, but you know, you get used to it. Can't remember how much I paid for this. It might have been $60, $65. So they have fancier ones that have engraving and various things on them, but I didn't need any of that. I did, however, misplace this at one point when we were moving, and I bought a more current version of it, a smaller version. This is the Carson. It's the M16-13T 13 Tango. So you can see it's a lot smaller than the big guy. And this has a drop point, or whatever that's called, has a more traditional shaped blade, but it's still got the flipper. It has a new annoying feature, which I'll tell you about in a minute, but it's otherwise pretty much the same design. I did have one screw fall out, which is pretty annoying. It just, you know, within a few days of using it, just kind of fell out. They seem to have improved the steel a little bit, though. Or just because of the geometry of this blade, this holds an edge very nicely. And this is a little smaller, maybe a little more discreet, less scary to people. Although ironically, the blade is not a whole lot shorter, but it's narrower and the whole knife is smaller. But I find the girth of the bigger one to be more satisfying when you really need to bear down on something. The new annoying feature is that this blade lock safety thing is now automatically turns itself on. So this thing is spring-loaded, this little lever here. So in the default position, the liner lock is locked, and so what you have to do is with one finger press the safety back and the other one press the liner back, and then somehow manipulate the blade to turn so that it passes the liner lock and closes. I find that really annoying, and if I used this knife more, I probably would figure out how to disable at least the spring part of this, because it's just too many. It's too many variables to deal with all at once. You've got to use like 3 fingers, and you know, it's just not cool. But anyway, that's the knife. Been pretty happy with it. I wish it would hold an edge a little bit better, but you know, so it goes. You just have to sharpen it more. So if you're looking for, you know, it's simple, works, utilitarian. I've done prying with it. I've done all sorts of things, and you know, I think other than slamming it onto some brick and breaking the tip off, that's the only real damage I've done to it. So it's held up pretty well. Anyhow, there you go. There you go, Jeff. That's my knife. So anyway, this is not a lockpicking video, but informational. At any rate, thank you so much for watching, and as always, have fun and keep it legal, and if you do everyday carry, make sure you understand and follow any local laws or regulations in your area that may pertain to that. It really varies by state and country, and you don't want to get in trouble or have them take your knife away. So, all right, take care. Cheers.